Joe and Reese, Piggly Brew Shop. Get yourself a pickle. Get yourself a boot. Joe and Reese, Piggly Brew Shop. Pickle time is happening.
Hey, Pallaroo. Hey, old friend.
Hey, Pallaroo.
Hey there, Sonny. Hey, when Sonny first joined my band, when I say my band, I want you guys to know that I think of Five Iron Frenzy as a group of people that I own, and they are my slaves.
Yeah.
So I always say my band because I possess them.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Anyway, when Sonny joined my band, I said to my friend John Graham, who was my roommate in college, he's like, who's your new guitar player? And I said, his name's Sonny. And he just goes, what? Is everyone his grandpa? And that was the funniest thing I've ever heard. Isn't it?
Speaking of Sonny,
Oh,
Sonny Sandoval from POD, his book came out.
oh yeah.
Yeah. So I ordered it. I'm waiting for it to get here because I
What's
want
it
to
about?
read it. It's like an autobiography.
Yeah. He's like, and then I felt so alive
Yes.
for the
And he
very
was like
first time.
the youth of our nation.
Then the
We
next thing I
We
thought
are.
was we are kind of the youth of our nation. We're like, we're pushing mid-20s, maybe 30s. But
Yeah.
if you look back from your late 50s, early 40s, 50s, you're going to be like, they are the youth of the nation. They were then.
Yeah.
Now what are you? I want to hear it. See if the book, if it ever goes over
I'll
that.
just read the last page. I'll read the last page.
Are they? Oh, middle-aged of the nation. I see.
We are the middle-aged of the nation. We are. You know what? You
know what?
introduced me to this Max McCowan,
Oh yeah, you checked it out.
and I've been rocking out to him. He's gonna look on his Apple Music stats and see that his plays in the state of Michigan have shot up. Because I play him all the time, and I've introduced him to like 3 people. Well, his music
Yeah.
to like three people, and they say that they listen to him all the time.
I don't
so-
even listen to music like that, but when I hear it, I'm like, that is a good version of the music like that.
Yeah, I understand what you mean when you say he's country, because like his earlier stuff seems like, very very country guy with the guitar singing.
Yeah.
And then he moves into like Passenger. You know who Passenger is?
I have been a passenger before. Is that what you're talking about? Like when you're letting somebody else drive and you're like, don't fall asleep.
You're like, Jesus, take the wheel.
Don't fall asleep. And you're like, I got an idea. 7-minute abs. You say things like that, and they're like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
What about 8-minute abs? And you have to be like, step into my office, man, because you're fired. Go ahead.
Yeah. Passenger sings like, what was his big hit? He sang,
His parents named him Passenger?
well, the name of like the band is Passenger, and he sings
the guy
like,
is not named Passenger? Because I was about to steal that.
but I do with the lights when you're feeling low, and then in the road and it starts to blow, and I know you love her when you let her go, so let her go.
I've never heard
Have
it.
you ever heard that song?
Nope. Joe, I'm afraid to listen to the country
you've been
music.
high when you're feeling low, and you miss the road when you're missing home.
Yeah, I tell you, I don't know if this is a rational fear, but I'm afraid that if I listen to country music and I accidentally fall asleep, I'll wake up and be racist.
Or you might wake up with a better appreciation to the music and the roots of rock and roll and rhythm and blues and the music of like our country.
Okay. That's going a little far. I'd rather fall asleep listening to jazz, the only true American art form. That,
Yeah, but like jazz.
have you ever heard that said? Is that a thing?
Yeah, but well, I guess jazz isn't, but like all of that comes from like that early country. Like that early country is the root of like all of our music. Like we have we have like the African beats and stuff like that kind of brought with the Delta blues and things like that.
When you say that, you mean we, like our people. We brought that. You're right. Our people brought over the African beats.
What?
You mean
I'm missing something.
I mean black people like yourself and I. We brought over our beats from Africa.
So, again, I'm missing. This is going over my head. I don't know what's going on right now.
Well, I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, I'm not picking up what you're putting down. But the
Delta,
thing is, like,
rhythm and blues, gospel.
Yeah, all of that, like it's all those roots are in like country.
Yeah.
And and so like for me, you look around the world and the different musics that came out of like a region, around the world. And like I listen to like Celtic music or Celtic music, whatever, however you pronounce it.
Yeah, it's pronounced Celtic.
Yeah. So like I listen to Celtic music and I love it. I absolutely love it. But that's like theirs, bagpipes and drummers.
Yeah, but
Like,
a
that's
lot of that
theirs.
is what got bluegrass. Like I think that also is integrated into what is American music. What is country?
Oh, 1,000%. And that's the point that I'm getting at is like when you hear Celtic music, I love it, but
Yeah.
it's somebody else's music that I'm enjoying.
Yeah.
When you hear everything from country to rhythm and blues to, I'm sure jazz is in there somewhere.
Jazz.
Because
have you ever
obviously
heard it said that jazz is the only true American art form? It's like the only thing we invented. It didn't
Yeah, but
borrow
those-
from someone else.
Correct. And I think that same thing with country. Like, and because the roots, obviously country music dates back further than jazz. Like it was country music mixed with like the
Celtic,
all the stuff of all the different cultures mixing in the South that brought that out. So, the older I get, the more proud I am of like that we have a style of music here that has then spawned, rock and roll. And then other countries took rock and roll. And then, you get the Beatles because the Beatles listened to, Chuck Berry and that stuff. And, and then it all builds upon it and it all started, here. And it started with,
So music critics would say things like country is the only American art form or like true American thing or jazz is. But like all the people that play that would just not at all acknowledge that. Like everything in music is incestuous. Everything.
Correct.
Like
Correct.
every single thing. You hear something and you're like, that, I got to put that in a song. That thing, that word, that's got to be in a song. That has to be this. I just heard a song. I'm going to change the key and then it's my song. Like every single musician does that. That's how you learn to play, is just like other styles. And then you put it in your own. So like,
I mean,
yeah, no.
Isn't it weird? Isn't it weird, Reese, that you were born in the century and you were born, so when were you born? 72? 73. Isn't it absolutely astonishing that you were born roughly 50, not hundreds, 50 years after the birth of basically the roots of rock and roll.
Yeah.
So you could go back to Robert Johnson, right? Robert Johnson, basically who they consider the creator of rock and roll, you know, at the crossroads, met the devil, that whole Robert Johnson.
Who's
Hellhounds on my tail.
Yeah,
So
there is some lady that they think got snaked for it, and she actually did it. Hold on.
Let's see. Okay, so here's
Sister
the deal.
Rosetta Tharpe,
Okay, so
the
even
godmother
so,
of rock and roll.
okay, so regardless of how history is remembered, if people go with the way that it's been since eyewitness accounts, or people go with revisionist history, so either one of those, Tharpe or Robert Johnson. Robert Johnson died in 1938. So let's say he was 20 years. So he died. He was what? He was 27 years old when he died.
Yeah.
So let's say at age 20. So let's take that back to 1931. Reese, we're talking 42 years later. From the birth of rock and roll, 32 years later, you were born. Like, we could talk about Mozart, and we could talk about operas, we could talk about pianos and like these crazy like classical stuff that was like done in the 1800s and all that. But isn't that mind-blowing that the birth
Very.
of rock and roll was done in the century that you and I were born in? 31 years, 32 years before you were born, and 36 years before I was born, rock and roll was born. That's bananas.
Bananas. It's amazing.
And the thing is that what trips me out about that is what you just said. Like, anything that me and you try to create today has been done, or it's an amalgamation of stuff we have heard. But go back, just go back to the fact that 32 years before you were born was when this thing started. Rock and roll started. And what's nuts is, fast forward 10 years, maybe, Johnny Cash, 10, 15 years, like the things that you just said, that me and you agree that if we do anything today in 2025, it's stolen from 1,000 people that are in our brains. But Johnny Cash, Chuck Berry, those guys were doing it. They were the creators. Do you know what I'm saying?
But also stealing. Like, they also had influences. They were also copying people. That's the thing about music, is like a critic will be like, this is gross because it's borrowing from this. And every single musician would be
Debbie
like,
Downer.
no,
You're like the biggest Debbie Downer I know.
no.
You just kind of took the wind out of my sails.
No, I think critics say that, but I think like musicians,
what'd you just do?
I made the thing fall over because the leg fell off, remember? I think that like musicians are like, this is, when you start thinking like that as a musician is when you die. You can't make a new thing. You can add together 1,000 things and then make a new thing, but it's still the sum of all those parts. And musicians get that. Like, musicians get that, like, ska wasn't a new thing. It was people who were playing calypso trying to play American R&B. Reggae wasn't a new thing. They smoked pot and they slowed down ska. Like 311 was not a new thing. It was just white suburban Nebraskans trying to play reggae. Like all these things are just, not that hey guys, don't think that I appreciate 311, because I don't. But
right, but I guess my enthusiastic point in saying that it happened within our lifetime is, if you
that's
think of
incredible.
if you think of it like gears of a clock, and me and you decide to create something today, we have 2,000 gears in front of us that we can pick up and use.
Yeah.
Whereas Chuck Berry or Johnny Cash or whoever named that artist back then, they may have had 4 or they may have had 2. And I know that they took something from somebody, but I'm kind of using the general big names that were known at the time. Like, did Chuck Berry probably steal something from somebody he heard down the block and then he just did it better? Yeah, probably, but I don't know the person down the block's name. I know Chuck Berry's name. Yeah. So I'm going to use Chuck Berry. But like Chuck Berry had 2 gears. Like he had 2 gears to be able to use. He knew, you know, like the Delta blues, and he knew, you know, probably bluegrass, and he knew country, and he could take those like 3 or 4 and create a song like Johnny B. Good. Yeah. Whereas the Beatles are then taking B.B. King, Robert Johnson, Great Balls of Fire. What's his name?
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Jerry Lee Lewis. Johnny Cash. Like now you're starting to see that, not that I'm telling you now you're starting to see, but one that's out there. Now you can start to see that like they have different cogs that the Beatles can now use to bring different rhythms, to bring different tempos, like all of those styles, to where we are in 2025, where there's an infinite number of cogs that we can use. That was all I was saying.
Well, and so what part of that is just the fact that we have access to recorded sound, like it, and you could listen to stuff on the radio then, or you could get a record, and then suddenly here we are. You can listen to anything you want at any time. Anything.
Do you think there's a style of music that you have not heard?
Yeah, I do. I'm sure there is something I have not heard. Like, yeah, man. Here's one thing that I think about. This is like shower thoughts, or what keeps me awake at night. Like, before we recorded all of this, how many like groups of minstrels, singers, or like people that traveled around, like how many really amazing songs or great artists just lived and died and was never ever recorded? Like that.
Oh, yeah.
That trips me out. Like I want to know that. I want to hear those songs. Were there styles of music that started and just spread and then just died, and you have no idea, and that could have influenced what we listen to now? You know, like what would that have done to music? But they're gone. You know, like that civilization collapsed, or those people just like, whatever, a war happened and they couldn't travel anymore, and that music
or they
never
lost.
got. Yeah.
They lost. So like, let's say the Philistines had a really good, cultural style of music.
Yeah.
When the Philistines were eventually beaten, their culture ended, and the winner, their culture was the one that went on. So I wonder those people, that what they brought to the table through art, through music,
yeah,
that ended because a war happened and the winner didn't, you know what I'm trying to say? Like the winner didn't continue their culture, their style of play.
And it's just gone. You know, like in opera, like the greatest soprano of all time is considered to be Maria Callas. I'm trying to think of movies that would have her.
Shawshank
singing. I think so. Yes. Or like Philadelphia, when Tom Hanks is listening to that record, it's Maria Callas singing opera. And like, that was like in the 30s. She's still considered to be the greatest opera singer of all time, but is it just because we recorded her? Like, who else could sing that good for 1,000 years
I mean,
before her.
you can extrapolate that into anything. Like, is there a kid in India who, if you gave him ice skates and a hockey stick, would be better than Gretzky, Alex Ovechkin? But
Yeah.
nobody knows that because he's a kid living in India and has never skated on ice.
Hey, man,
you know?
is Alex Ovechkin about to break Gretzky's goal
18
record?
goals away.
I had no idea this guy even existed until Kara pointed it out. She's like, yeah, I'm so excited for the Caps. And
Are
that-
you? Oh,
apparently
seriously?
that's a hockey team around here.
Yeah. Yeah, Washington Capitals, they won the Stanley Cup a few years ago.
I know.
And Ovechkin is, what makes Ovechkin amazing is he obviously he's going to break Gretzky's goal record.
Yeah.
He's in his 40s. He's had a few injuries. So he's like 41 or 42 years old.
Okay.
He broke his leg this season.
No.
He broke his leg and 4.5 weeks later was playing ice hockey in the NHL again. Not in a beer league, not pickup at your local rink.
Went
He was
right back.
playing in an NHL game and scored a goal
How
in his
bad did
first
he
game back.
break his leg?
He broke his tibia and fibia, I believe.
Both.
I believe so.
He's like walking around with pins in his leg playing.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
like, okay, you're clear to walk. And he's like, all right, motherfuckers, I'm going to
Yeah.
score some goals.
And he's in his 40s. And the crazy, so like Gretzky was Gretzky. Ovechkin is about to pass him. He will pass him.
yeah.
But the other thing is like Ovechkin like hits, he checks, he's powerful.
Yeah. Gretzky was a smaller guy.
Yeah, Gretzky needed people to protect him.
Mm-hmm.
Ovechkin doesn't need people to protect him. Like he can handle his own. But yeah, it's absolutely crazy. But one of the weird things is, so Gretzky has the record in the NHL for the most goals.
Yeah.
Wayne Gretzky also has a record in the NHL for the most assists. This is what's bananas. Wayne Gretzky has more assists than every other person to play in the NHL if you combined all their goals and all their assists together.
Oh my gosh.
Not everybody. So I'm not saying everybody, but like singularly, like Alex Ovechkin, he's going to break his goals, but let's say Ovechkin only has 500 assists in his life. He's going to end up with whatever, say 900 goals plus 500 assists.
Yeah.
Wayne Gretzky has like, whatever his goal record is, say 899. 899, and then he's got like 2,000 assists. So it's
It'll
like,
never be broken.
no, people, their entire career's points will never, and points are goals and assists added up. Their points there's Hall of Famers whose points are still not more than the number of assists that Wayne Gretzky's had.
He's still the great one.
Yeah, he's for sure the great one when it comes to overall points. But Ovechkin is going to beat him, and he could do it this season. They have like 20 games left.
And he's like
he needs 18 goals.
Oh, 18.
Yeah. Maybe
Okay.
17 now, but he had 17 or 18 goals that he needs.
That's pretty cool.
And playoffs do count. So playoffs do count. So the Capitals are going to make the playoffs. So he's going to have at the very least, even if they get swept, he's going to have an extra 4 games. So if there's 20 games left, he's got 24 games
to get 18
to
goals.
score, 18 goals. And it's very possible. He had a hat trick the other night. So like first game back from the All-Star break, he had a hat trick. I mean, he's crazy, dude. And here's the other thing. In his water bottle on the bench, it's got Coke in it. He doesn't drink water during a game. He drinks Coke.
Jeez.
Whenever they show him on the bench hitting that water bottle, it's said that it's Coke.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Well, I really like this conversation we have about this music because it's got my brain thinking.
Yeah.
And even stuff that I said is stuff that I've never thought of until now. Like with the Cogs. And I asked you the question, do you think you've heard every style of music? And you said no. I would have said yes up until 2 years ago when I heard mathcore.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't necessarily, the more that I'm thinking about it now that I'm thinking it through, I don't necessarily know if I would consider like sub-genres a new music.
So mathcore is part of hardcore or part of metal.
Correct. So now that I'm thinking it through, do I think that I've heard all styles of music?
Uh-huh.
I kind of think I have. Like I've heard.
What about like that Russian throat singing? Did you hear that a couple of years ago? And we're like,
that's
oh yeah, I know
Mongolian.
what that is.
Yeah, that's Mongolian throat singing and the
Well, that guy's all like that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you heard
and
that? That's
they're
new.
called the Huh or the Who.
Yeah.
They're called the Who.
Right. Like
Those guys are awesome.
he didn't hear that before. Like there's a good chance there's stuff you don't know about still.
I know. It's like saying, has everything been invented?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So in my brain right now, it's also when we saw GoldenEye, James Bond GoldenEye for N64, we thought that was the pinnacle of graphics.
Yep. Like it's got a real person's face. I feel like I'm in the movie. And now you go back and play it and you're just like, this is like the screensaver for Windows 98. I'm in the screensaver for Windows 98. And that looks like a picture of Pierce Brosnan stretched over more pixels.
I remember being on the tour bus playing Bram in like Madden 98 and thinking, I don't know how the graphics can get any better.
I don't know. And now it's like, it's still, it looks very real.
Yeah, I shudder to say that again because it looks super real now.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine that graphics in the future are literally going to be real, like real. It's going to look like real.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to take real player animations and that's it.
So, you know how there's like always this conspiracy theory or just this theory that this is a simulation that we're in?
Yeah.
Like, because The Matrix came out. The Matrix came out, it got in everybody's heads, and they're like, wait, what if this isn't real?
Got in some people's heads.
So they've done these experiments where they shot electrons through like this kind of board, like a metal board, and it had slits in it. And it was to see like how uniformly they go into whatever's on the other side, because they can measure this. So how electrons behave, right? So they would go and they would behave as you expected them to. They'd follow the laws of physics. But then this is the crazy experiment. I don't know who got funding for this, but they're like, what if we don't watch it? So they don't watch it. They automate the experiment and it goes through and they spread in a different way. Like they spread. So when they were watched, they spread out like a full spectrum. And it was like they could look at it and be like, well, that's what we thought. That follows the laws of physics. When they didn't watch, they just went in like the lines of the board that was in front of it. So it didn't really follow the laws of physics or do what they expected it to do. It just seemed like the laziest thing. Like the electrons then did this lazy thing like they weren't being watched. So then they tried the experiment again where they put like a fake, like something that looked like a human, I think. I cannot remember the exact details. Something that looked like a human that was watching it, and did the experiment, and the electrons behaved as if the humans were watching it. Then they did it again with something that didn't look like a human. It was like a camera robot watching, and it didn't do what it did, the line thing instead of spreading out. And so the result of this experiment is that, like, electrons, the theory of matter and energy is that, like, they kind of think with string theory that there's all these subatomic particles, quarks and leptons, that make up electrons or make up atoms or make up, like the matter, subatomic stuff. They think possibly are just electrons. Like there's just one particle. It's just electrons and they move at different frequencies. So all of matter behaves a certain way and all of energy behaves a certain way when we're watching it. And when you're not, it does something else. So that's the trippy ass thing, is like, is this happening as a show for us? Like,
Reese, what made you go off on that?
I know.
I don't have a clue where that came from. We were talking about Alex Ovechkin, and I don't know what to say. I don't know what spawned that.
Is this real, Joe? Like,
You just went on a complete science experiment.
well, we were
tangent.
talking about about how good the graphics are and that it's going to look real.
Oh.
And like, there are people that
We're talking about how
theorize.
Madden looks real, and now you're talking about
Yeah.
matter dancing
Yeah.
in front of people when they're watching.
So see, there are people that
This is great.
this is their crazy whacked out theory that all that we see is graphics. It's electrons that are behaving in a certain way
Okay.
so that you believe you're here.
Yeah. And those are the same people that think the earth is flat. And when that was debunked, now they think we live under a giant dome.
Yeah.
And those are the same people. Yeah. It goes on and on and on and on.
Well, I somewhat ascribe to this theory.
Of course you do.
Of course
you're
I do.
Reese Roper. And you
Now-
always go for these far-reaching, crazy shock
No.
talk stuff.
I know, but like, I'm not saying this as shock talk. I think that, like, we are souls. We are, you and me, we are souls. I don't think this is all there is. I think, my faith tells me that, like, we are not just bodies. These are
And are you
vessels.
talking about your faith in Christ or faith in drag queens?
Faith in Christ and the drag
Okay.
queens that love him.
Okay.
I think, like, these are vessels, like the Bible
Yeah.
describes these as being
Yeah.
jars of clay.
Yeah.
So to me, this is, we possess these things. We possess these apes. Our souls possess these apes. It's not real. Like, what is real is our souls, the Lord, the angels, the demons. This whole planet, or maybe the whole universe, to me is just like, this is what you're put into. This thing. And so, we could talk about this on another podcast, but I believe in evolution. I don't think it is counter to scripture. I just think that, like, people get really caught up on like a literal translation of Genesis. But like, I think that this happened, that evolution happened, the world became And then we are inserted into the bodies of these apes, which are Homo sapiens sapiens. And this is not real. Like, we're only able to perceive mostly like what these apes can. We can only
real.
perceive
It
pain.
is real.
No, I mean, like, it's real. It's like you're standing, like those science things where, like it's a hood and you see it on CSI Miami. It's called a hood. It's not called a science thing, but it's like this giant glass case and the guy's put his arms in it and he's like moving things around. The realness is in that hood, but you're outside. You are a soul that possesses this. And your only input is through touch. You can touch other molecules. You can touch things with your sense of touch. You can feel a change in temperature. You can touch that. You have specialized neurons in your ears that can detect really minuscule changes in temperature that we call sound, or you can catch photons and touch them with your eyes, or you can smell molecules, like you can touch molecules with your nose or your tongue.
Everything that you just said makes something real.
But that's not what's real. That's just that's not real. You are real. You as a soul are real. Like,
but one
you
doesn't
are only able to perceive.
One doesn't cancel the other. Like, it's not like we're souls in these containers, therefore our souls are real, and then these things that we're in are just a video game and graphics. Like, you don't have to believe in one to, like, not have to believe in the other. The God is God, the Holy Spirit, and Jesus. We can be souls in these bodies, in this world that is real because the Lord created it. We know it's real because of
I'm not
pain.
saying
Like,
it's not real in the aspect that it doesn't exist. I'm saying it's not real in the aspect that, like, it we don't belong to it. Like, that we are here, we can sense this, and we are in these apes, which are basically just a conduit for pain. Like, our perception of pleasure is based off of, like, well, this feels better than that last thing. Or we know what it's like to be cold, so we want to be warm. Like, our entire perception is based on touching the molecules in this world.
Well, our entire perception is based on our five senses.
Which is touching things.
Well, I mean, it's touching, taste, it's tasting the particles, it's smelling,
Tasting.
it's hearing.
Touching
It's all of
photons. Touch.
Sure. So I'm sure I'll concede that to you, like, because those are our senses. Like, that's what we're given. So you can't, I
Right.
guess, deny that.
But what I mean is not that this isn't real. It's like this small thing is nothing compared to what actually is, which is our souls or the Lord or whatever is beyond, when the only thing you can experience is touch.
I mean,
touching other molecules.
The short answer is I would agree with you in the sense that while we are here on this world, this is real, this is alive, we're not in somebody else's game. Everything around us is legit and is going on, and our souls are in here. I do believe when our souls leave our body, there is something greater and bigger and better than this shitty world we're on.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's what I mean.
And that is that, you go back to the fall, it was supposed to be perfect. And by going against God, the pain and suffering and evil and sin and all that stuff entered the world. That all gets thrown in the mix, and that's what we have now.
Was it? You don't think this is rigged?
No,
I do.
What do you mean rigged?
Come on, like okay, even Paul, like in is it in Romans? He talks about how like, that we would have all done what Adam did or all done what Eve did. We all would be unsatisfied.
I can't speak in that. Like my brain doesn't go to definites.
Okay, but like if the story of Adam and Eve is literal or figurative, like it is about us not being satisfied with what we have. And we're built that way.
Right.
We're in animals. We're in these apes and we have animal drives.
I mean, you keep saying that. I believe that God created all, I don't want to knock what we are, because to God, he created everything, and then he created man special, and he created man in his image.
Mm-hmm.
So personally, I don't want to sell us short by just going like, we're in these apes, because we're not apes. Like, I mean, I if you want to break it down and classify
we
us,
are primates,
but we're human beings. And
but do you do things because you're a primate? Do you ever do things just because of that? Of course you do.
like what? Like, what do you mean?
Like, you're never just like, I'm completely satisfied. I'm done. Like, you're going to get hungry. You're going to want more. You're going to want something that tastes better. You want animal things. You want to spread your seed. You want people that look like you to come out of the most beautiful woman you can find.
Not currently. Like I have,
It's still in there.
I have 2 kids, and I don't.
Yeah,
Like I don't need to keep spreading my seed. I don't.
You can talk yourself out of it, but it's still in there. There's still something in you that's just like, oh man, look at the chest on that thing or that ass. I want that. I want that thing.
See,
somehow
it goes
pulls
back
at
to
me.
definites. It goes back to definites. I don't agree with that.
Well, where does that come from? Is it because you're made in the image of God, or because
it's
part of you that's made in the image of God is put inside of an animal?
I mean, it's like we're splitting here. It's like we're splitting hairs here. Like, I believe there's biology within us that we have urges and we have desires to, to do things as we grow up and puberty, and you want to do but that's us as human beings who God created us in his image. It set us apart from animals. So where we're splitting hairs is you just take that and you just want to look at, I'm going to use the word vulgar. You just want to do the vulgar term of like, we're animals. Whereas I just look at it as like, no,
I think that's what you hear. I'm not saying that.
Then I don't know what you're saying.
I'm not saying it's vulgar at all. I just think
Not vulgar in the sense of like, I'm not saying vulgar in the sense of like wrong or evil.
Yeah.
I'm saying vulgar in the sense of like absolutely bare bones blunt is how I'm using that term.
It is, yeah. And I'm saying it, I think, let me restart. I think the aversion to that came about like when the church was fighting against this idea of evolution, because we had been trained, we had been taught for millennia that this is the story of creation. There's no gray area. Like Adam and Eve, God really made Adam out of mud and then pulled his rib out and made Eve. Like that can't be figurative, even though like if you read the Hebrew, it is very figurative. And the way that it speaks about creation is like first came, there's water and then plants and then one-celled organisms and then organisms without a backbone and then organisms with a backbone. And then they walked on land and then they did this. If you read the Hebrew, it is like that. Like it describes this, which to me as a Christian, as somebody that believes in God, like how much more beautiful is that creation story that God took 9 billion years to get to this point where the pinnacle of humanity is this podcast, Joe.
See, true. But here's my take on it. I don't think the Bible is made to explain how the world came about.
Correct. But I think we want that.
I think people do want it. And people such as yourself that love science fiction, love science, love biology, your brains love to process this and go through it and do all that stuff. Where someone like my brain who doesn't care about that, I don't read the Bible and I don't read those, the beginning and think the Bible explains the Big Bang. The Bible explains where we came from. The Bible doesn't do that. The Bible is a roadmap for our relationship with God, period. Like, I don't look at the Bible and say, the Bible is going to show me like how constellations work and why, you know what I mean? Like,
I know
that's not what the Bible is about. The Bible is simply a relationship. It shows us how to have that relationship with God.
But you have to understand that people believe that, like that. It is straight literal.
That, but that's as much malarkey as it is that I take in you just breaking us down to just boiling us down to just saying we're apes that just want to spread our seed and have more and more and more.
No, like, I don't think that. I do think that, like, that explains a lot. If you think of us as apes and that we are then souls that inhabit these apes, that we are animals, that explains a lot, that we behave this way because we are animals. We want more. We're, like we fight each other. We have a pecking order. We do all these things that are like innately biological to us being primates, to us being animals. That I think if you believe the Bible, they are in conflict with the character of God. That us fighting each other, that us hurting each other, that us like wanting multiple wives, or us like all these things that we do that are kind of like innately animal, hurt people. They hurt God. And so going back to like the Genesis thing, like if that was literal, there literally was a Garden of Eden, and Adam and Eve chose to exercise their curiosity, or they were unsatisfied with what they had and they wanted more, we would all do the same thing. So figuratively or literally, we would all eventually become unsatisfied. And because, in my opinion, because we're animals, we do that. And I think it's rigged that way. I think that when we stop thinking that we're not set up to fail, we miss the point of salvation. And some people, like, I know, like, if I had this conversation with Scott, he would just be like, well, then God's an asshole. Why would he create this whole world to, where we have to choose him, where we're set up to fail unless we choose him, and he is our salvation. Like, he's made himself the hero. He created the story where he's the only answer. But like, my answer is, wouldn't you do that if you were God? Like, would you not at one point just be like, this is how I want it to be this time? And I also have this conversation with like Kara or a lot of people, just where they're like, that's stupid. I would do it this other way. Like, why does everybody have to have free will? What if everybody just had two choices? Or what if it was more clear? But you have no idea. This universe, alone, like if this universe is all there is in matter, how many billions and trillions of habitable planets, or how many life forms this could also be going with? And that could be the story for them. Like, that's how it is with God and them. Maybe they didn't need a savior. Maybe they weren't formed like as animals, like those souls were in something that just glorified God, that didn't need to fight against God, that wasn't built to serve themselves or like to just make their species go on. Like, that is our innate drive, is just to like conquer everything and take everything and just never be satisfied.
But again, not everyone. Like, not everyone thinks like that.
But right. Elon Musk, yes. Donald Trump, for sure. But like, most people don't have in their mind, like, I want everything. They just subconsciously are like, I'm not satisfied with this. I wonder if it's the grass is always greener, or keeping up with the Joneses. Like, I wonder if what that guy has is better. I wonder if I had 2 hot tubs. Or I wonder, what I don't like is my job. I wonder if this job is better. I wonder if that food tastes better. I wonder if Mongolian throat music is better.
I mean, I look at things as, because I don't look at things in definitive. So I have to I have to think in my head that if 1 out of 1,000 people don't go along with that program, if 1 of 1,000 people have enough self-control where they wouldn't have taken the apple, they don't care about the Joneses, they don't care about a second hot tub. And then if 1 person, then I have to think that there's 2 people.
But that's not the Bible, dude. The Bible says if you were put in that place, you would do the same thing. The only being that was able to not be that was Christ. That would not succumb to the temptation. So like the Bible says, he was fully man and fully God. So he felt all the pulls, all the instinctive, innate pulls of being an animal, of being an ape, but refused to give into it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think that we would agree on this. But what I do have one, so let me say I don't agree with you on it. Mm-hmm. And we could keep talking for a while about it.
We'll probably talk about it again.
But one thing that came up this week that I wanted to ask you about, and this isn't going to be a 20-minute conversation. This is probably just going to be a 5-minute conversation. But you know how there was the Hubble telescope?
Uh-huh.
And now there's, what's the new one?
James Webb.
The James Webb. I was going to say the James Wells. How come we can't take the James Webb and like just point it at Mars?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if the James Webb can see to like the farthest reaches of the universe, what happens if we pointed at the moon? Like, could we just see really close on the moon, or could we see Mars, or, you know what I mean?
I think the James Webb telescope, I could be wrong, it's not like a telescope like we think of it. It uses X-rays or something. It takes
light. It just takes pure light, correct?
I can't remember, but it's not like a regular telescope, like where it's just like, this is a picture of this. It is like, this is the radiation from this, and then they can make it into a picture. So like a planet or something. So it's not like a
giant pirate's telescope.
Yeah,
it's not like a giant pirate telescope out in space.
Yeah, it is like measuring radiation. So like something that emits low radiation, like a solid mass, like a planet, is not going to show up with pretty pictures.
Is that the same? Is that what the Hubble did too?
No, I think the Hubble actually was a telescope or is a telescope because it's
And
still up there.
Did the Hubble ever do that? Like, was the Hubble ever pointed at the moon
I
or
think
pointed
I think
at
so. I think they took,
Jupiter?
yeah. No, I think they looked at the planets with it. I could be lying. Pickle home companion.
Because they're like, they have satellites that can read a license plate on Earth. Well, if
Yeah.
you take the Hubble and you point it towards like Mars, could you read a license plate on Mars?
Yeah. I
Could
don't
we just
know.
sit there and look
Or
at a planet?
is like the atmosphere too thick? It can't get through it.
Yeah, I was
Planets
thinking
without
about that.
atmosphere, like Mercury.
I was thinking about that yesterday as I was driving around at work. Like, why don't we just point these things at a planet?
Just
I mean,
so we don't
just-
even have to go there.
Like, I
think
want to
atmosphere.
I want to walk into a NASA meeting where everyone's sitting around the table. Then I come in with like a half-eaten sandwich and a Pepsi Max. And I
Point
go, hey
at-
guys,
Hey guys,
I got an idea. Can we just point the Hubble at Mars? And I just want someone to drop their pen and go, are you effing kidding me? Why didn't we think of that? And then everybody just sit there and look at each other like, are you serious? Nobody thought of this? Get this guy, get this guy in the room. And then,
and it, you
and
get
then I
your
get
own
to sit in the
coffee
room while
mug.
they like go, and point it at something that matters.
I think Joe, I don't know if you can go down there.
Yeah.
It's up here. Come visit me. We'll walk on down there and be like, hey, Joe's got some questions, and I'll get you. I'll see if I can get you in.
questions. I have some statements. Like,
Some
can
statements.
we? Well, I guess that is a question. Can we?
It was a question.
Yeah. So can we? Yeah, exactly. Can we just point this thing at somewhere cool? Like, I want to see the flag on the moon. Can we point it so I can see it?
You know, that would help immensely with like the flat earthers and the people that are like, we never landed on the moon. Just be like, we're going to turn it right now. Look here, Dave, we're going to point it at Dave down here. Dave, wave at it. All right, Dave's a flat earther. And then they crank it and they're like, there's the flag on the moon. Dave, do you get it now? Yeah.
And he'll go, nope. Nope, it's still, yeah. We're whalers on the moon. We carry a harpoon. What? Do you remember that from Futurama?
No.
On Futurama, they have to drop something off on the moon. And the moon has become like a tourist attraction like Disney World. And they go on one of the rides. And it's like the ride is like how the moon was founded. And it's just this, instead of like the US like landing on it with like Apollo, it's like they make it like it's a small world, but it's whalers. And so and this song is like, we're whalers on the moon, we carry a harpoon, and then it's something like we something like we set sail, we tell tall tales, we're whalers on the moon. And then this entire like cheesy ride that people ride through tells the story of how the moon was founded by whalers searching for blubber and landed on they landed on the moon. It's bizarre. One last thing before I go.
Yes, sir.
A book that you got to read, In the Heart of the Sea.
Oh, yeah. Did we talk
Have you
about
read
this?
that? Did we already?
It's like what they based Moby Dick off, Herman Melville,
Yes.
off
Okay,
the
then we did talk
story,
about
but it's a real book about it. It's good.
Yes. It's great.
Okay.
Read it.
Sweet. I will.
All right, let's call this a night.
Let's call this a chicken.
Yeah.
All
Let's
right.
crap a chicken.
Now I'm about to go sit down on what I like to call the family throne, people.
And
crap out a
ladies
chicken.
and gents, next week we have Insiders drummer Nate Sjogren, who will be regaling us with tales of stories of the Insiders that I do not remember.
And some stories about me being on tour with him for the poetry tour, which I was told I wore a Speedo for.
No. There you go.
Yeah, I'll bust that thing out right now.
You'll be busting out of that thing right now.
Probably.
You and that trouser hog of yours. Good night, everybody.
Peace. Trouser hog.